Jeffery Michael Jeff Gordon is an American professional stock car racing driver. He drives the number 24 Chevrolet SS for Hendrick Motorsports in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Gordon started his racing career in the Busch Series with Hugh Connerty Racing, followed by Bill Davis Racing, winning 3 races, and began racing full-time in the Cup Series for Hendrick Motorsports in 1993. From 1995 to 2001, he has been a 4-time Sprint Cup champion, and has won the Daytona 500 3 times. He is third on the all-time Cup wins list, with 92 career wins, and is the most wins in NASCAR's modern era. Gordon's 76 pole positions lead all active drivers, and is third all-time. Gordon won at least 1 pole in 22 consecutive seasons, a NASCAR record. He is also the active Ironman leader for consecutive races participated in, with 760 as of the 2014 Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500. In 2009, Gordon became the first NASCAR driver to reach $100 million USD in career winnings. In 1998, NASCAR named Gordon to its 50 greatest drivers list. 10 years later, in 2008, Terry Blunt of ESPN ranked him 10th in the 25 greatest drivers of all time. FoxSports.com named Gordon as the 5th best NASCAR driver of all time. Gordon, along with Rick Hendrick, co-owns the number 48 Chevrolet driven by Jimmy Johnson, who won 6 Cup championships from 2006 to 2010, and 2013. Gordon also has an equity stake in his own number 24 team. Gordon also owned a Busch Series team between 1999 and 2000, Gordon of Hendrick Motorsports, winning twice. Gordon was born in Vallejo, California, raised in Pittsboro, Indiana, and currently resides in Charlotte, North Carolina, with his wife, Ingrid Vandy Bosch, and their 2 children, Ella Sophia and Leo Benjamin. Racing career, beginnings. When he was 4 years old, Gordon rode a BMX bike that his stepfather bought for him, but began racing at the age of 5, racing quarter midgets. The Roy Hayer Memorial Racetrack in Rio Linda, California is noted as the first track Gordon ever competed on. By the age of 6, Gordon had won 35 main events and set 5 track records. At age 12, Gordon became bored with cars and decided to start a career in water skiing before switching back to driving 1 year later. When he was 13, Gordon took an interest in the 650-horsepower sprint cars. Gordon and his family had to overcome an insurance hurdle. The minimum age for driving the sprint cars was 16, and his persistence paid off with an all-Florida Speed Weeks. Supporting his career choice, Gordon's family moved from Vallejo, California, to Pittsboro, Indiana, where there were more opportunities for younger racers. Before the age of 18, Gordon had already won 3 short-track races and was awarded USAC Midget Car Racing Rookie of the Year in 1989. That season was highlighted by winning night before the 500 midget car race on the day before the Indianapolis 500. In 1990, Gordon won his 2nd consecutive night before the 500, the Hut 100, and the Belleville Midget Nationals on his way to winning the USAC National Midget title. In 1991, Gordon captured the USAC Silver Crown, and at the age of 20 became the youngest driver to win the season championship. He also won the 4 Crown Nationals midget car race that season. In his midget car career between 1989 and 1992, he finished in the top 3 in 22 of 40 USAC midget car events. In the early 1990s, Gordon expressed interest in IndyCar racing, but was not able to find a ride due to low funding. However, former Formula One driver Jackie Stewart offered Gordon a test drive in Europe, in what Gordon assumed was Formula 3 or Formula 3000. Gordon did not perform the test due to being in contact with NASCAR. NASCAR, Busch Series. In 1990 Gordon met Hugh Connerty, who owned some Hooters restaurants and was also a partner in Outback Steakhouse. Connerty secured some sponsorship for a car through Outback, and they tested for the last few Busch Grand National races left in 1990. Ray Avernum was called in to work with Gordon in his stock car debut. His first Busch race came on October 20, 1990 at Rockingham Speedway in the AC Delco 200. Gordon drove the number 67 Outback Steakhouse Pontiacs for Connerty. Gordon ran the second fastest lap during qualifying and started on the outside of the front row of the field. Gordon would, however, get involved in a wreck on lap 33. He ended up with a 39th place finish. In 1991 and 1992, Gordon went on to the Busch Series driving Ford Thunderbirds for Bill Davis Racing. In his first year as a Busch driver he won Rookie of the Year. In 1992, Gordon set a NASCAR record by capturing 11 poles in one season. He was sponsored by Carolina Ford dealers in 1991 and Baby Ruth in 1992. In 1999, Gordon along with Cup crew chief Evernham formed Gordon Evernham Motorsports in the Busch Series with Gordon and Rick Hendrick's son Ricky Hendrick as drivers, the Rainbow Warriors as pit crew and Patrick Donahue as crew chief. The co-owned team received a full sponsorship from Pepsi and ran 6 races with Gordon as driver and Evernham as crew chief. GM only survived 1 year as Evernham left Hendrick Motorsports, citing tension between him and the team, ending one of the most dominant driver-crew-chief combinations in NASCAR history. Gordon extended his Busch experiment 1 more year, through 2000 as co-owner, with Rick Hendrick buying Evernham's half, and GM becoming JG Motorsports. In 2 seasons, Gordon won twice, in 1999 at the Outback Steakhouse 200, the inaugural race at Phoenix, and 2000 at Homestead. Sprint Cup Series. In 1992, Rick Hendrick watched Gordon compete in a Busch race at Atlanta, and 2 days later, signed him to Hendrick Motorsports. Gordon made his Winston Cup debut in the 1992 Hooters 500 at Atlanta, the last race of that season, and finished 31st after crashing. In addition to the race being Richard Petty's final race in NASCAR and the championship battle among 6 drivers, this was Gordon's first start in the number 24 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports that he has driven for his entire Cup Series career. Gordon began driving the number 24 full-time in the 1993 Winston Cup season, with Ray Evernham as his first crew chief. Gordon started his rookie season by winning a Gatorade Twin 125s race, a qualifying event for the Daytona 500, which was followed by a 5th-place finish in his first Daytona 500. He eventually won the Rookie of the Year award, and finished 14th in points. Gordon's success in the sport reshaped the paradigm and eventually gave younger drivers an opportunity to compete in NASCAR. However, during the 1993 season, many doubted Gordon's ability to compete at such a level at such a young age because of his tendency to push the cars too hard and crash. His last-place finish at the 1993 First Union 400 was a firm example of this theory. Additionally, driver Darrell Iltrep wrote he told Hendrick during the 1993 season that Gordon had hit everything but the pace car that year. He was given the nickname Wonderboy by Dale Earnhardt, and his crew was called the Rainbow Warriors. 1994. In 1994, Gordon opened the season with a 4th-place finish in the Daytona 500. And in the next 9 races, recorded 2 top 10s at Richmond and Atlanta. However, Gordon also had 5 finishes outside the top 30, though he was able to rebound from his 37th place finish at Sears Point Raceway by collecting his first career victory at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Coca-Cola 600, the longest race on the NASCAR circuit, from the pole. Late in the race Gordon decided to take 2 tires on a green flag pit stop instead of 4, and was able to hold off Rusty Wallace by 3.91 seconds. Afterwards, Gordon scored 3 top 10s at Pocono and Daytona, followed by a popular hometown victory at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the inaugural Brickyard 400, passing Ernie Irvan for the lead late in the race when Irvan cut down a tire. After Indianapolis, Gordon recorded top 10s at Watkins Glen International, North Wilkesboro Speedway and Phoenix International Raceway. Gordon finished 8th in the Winston Cup point standings for the 1994 season, 918 points behind Dale Earnhardt, who grabbed the driving championship for his 7th and final time. 1995 a Euro 2001. In 1995, Gordon had a rough start in the Daytona 500, finishing 22nd after starting 4th. The following week at Rockingham, Gordon won the pole with a lap speed of 157.620 miles per hour, breaking the previous track record of 157.099 mile per hour set by Ricky Rudd. Gordon eventually won the race, leading a race-high 329 laps. At Richmond, Gordon clinched the pole, but a fuel pump ended his day, finishing 36th. A week later, Gordon won at Atlanta, followed by his third pole of the season at Darlington, but crashed. Gordon won his third race of the year at Bristol, followed by another pole at North Wilkesboro. He won his fifth pole at Charlotte, but after the race, NASCAR officials found unapproved wheel hubs on Gordon's car, and fined the team $60,000 while placing Ray Evernham on probation indefinitely. Gordon later won 4 more poles during the season, along with winning at Daytona, New Hampshire, Darlington and Dover. The results during the season gave him a 300-point lead over Dale Earnhardt, and Gordon won his first career Winston Cup championship. The team's consistency was much better as well, having 3 DNFs in 1995, compared to 21 in his previous 2 seasons combined. Gordon got off to a rocky start in 1996, but rebounded to win 10 races, the series high. The 2014 collected wins at Richmond, Darlington, Bristol, Dover, Pocono, Talladega, Martinsville, and North Wilkesboro. This would start a 3-year streak of winning double-digit races. He finished second to teammate Terry Labonte for the championship, losing by 37 points. Gordon won his first Daytona 500 in 1997, becoming the youngest driver in history to win the race, a record that would stand until Trevor Bayne's 500 win in 2011. He won the second race of the season at Rockingham the following week, followed by a later win at Bristol. During the latter's final lap, Gordon made contact with Rusty Wallace in turn 3, causing Wallace to slide up the track, and allowed Gordon to win. In May, Gordon won the Winston at Charlotte in a Jurassic Park scheme. The car was modified by Evernham with assistance from Hendrick chassis engineer Rex Stump, and as a result, was considered illegal by other team owners. Eventually, NASCAR was forced to rewrite much of its rulebook, and later seized the car. It was later restored and placed on display at the Hendrick Motorsports Museum. Gordon would later win the Coca-Cola 600 and had a chance to become the first man since Bill Elliott in 1985 to win the Winston Million. Gordon completed the feat by holding off a charging Jeff Burton in the final laps of the Southern 500 at Darlington. While Elliott failed to win the Winston Cup in 1985, Gordon claimed his second Winston Cup championship in 1997, completing one of the most impressive single-season performances in NASCAR history. He finished the season with 10 victories for the second straight season. His victory at California was in the track's inaugural race, and his victory at Watkins Glen began a streak of 7 consecutive road course victories. In 1998, Gordon opened the year with a 16th-place finish in the Daytona 500. Gordon eventually won the following week at Rockingham, along with Bristol 4 weeks later. From 1995–98, Gordon has won at least one of the 2 events at Bristol each year. Gordon would win a total of 13 races, a modern-era record, at Charlotte, Richmond, Sonoma, Pocono, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, Michigan, New Hampshire, Daytona, Rockingham, and Atlanta, clinching the championship at the penultimate race at Rockingham. Gordon won the 1998 championship with a 364-point lead over Mark Martin. Gordon set Cup records during the season, including 4 consecutive wins, 17 consecutive top 5 finishes. He ended the season with 7 poles, 25 top 5s and 27 top 10s. In 1999, Gordon opened the season with his second Daytona 500 victory, and eventually won at Atlanta. Gordon won again Fontana and Sears Point, the latter in which he defeated Mark Martin by .197 seconds, the closest finish at the track since electronic scoring was introduced. He added another win at Watkins Glen, which made him the first driver since Martin to win 3 consecutive races at the Glen. After the departure of Evernham, team engineer Brian Whitesell was named the interim crew chief for remainder of the Cup season after Vernham's departure in September. Whitesell scored back-to-back victories in his first two races at Martinsville and Lowe's. Despite winning 7 times in 1999, Gordon also had 7 DNFs, and finished 6th in the series standings. During the year, Gordon signed a lifetime contract with Hendrick Motorsports starting in 2000, which allowed him to become an equity owner in his number 24 team. 2000 saw Gordon enter his first campaign with Robbie Loomis as crew chief. Loomis had been with Petty Enterprises for years prior. The team struggled as the rebuilding process went on. Gordon scored his first victory of 2000 at Talladega in the spring event, winning his 50th career victory in the series. He went on to win at Sears Point Raceway and Richmond. Gordon finished the season 9th in points. Many people questioned Gordon's ability to win championships without a Vernham, especially after Gordon's 9th-place points finish in 2000. Gordon answered those doubts in 2001 by winning 6 races beginning at Las Vegas. In May, at the Winston, rain caused the track to become slick, which led to Gordon spinning in Turn 2 on the first lap, and was T-boned on the driver's side by Michael Waltrip. However, NASCAR permitted drivers who had crashed to use their backup cars, and Gordon would win the event, tying Dale Earnhardt with 3 wins in the All-Star race. Gordon would later win at Dover, Michigan, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, and the inaugural race at Kansas. Gordon became the 3rd driver to win 4 Cup championships in NASCAR history, then second only to Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. 2002 Euro 06, Gordon entered the 2002 season as defending champion, but the year was far from perfect. A strong showing in the Daytona 500 was ruined when Sterling Marlin sent Gordon spinning in the infield grass with a handful of laps remaining, while leading the race. Gordon had won his 125 qualifier, but finished 9th in the Daytona 500 after the contact with Marlin. It was announced to the media during the spring event at Darlington that Gordon's then-wife, Brooke, was filing for divorce. Gordon did not win until the Sharpie 500 night race at Bristol in August after passing Rusty Wallace, who was slowed by lapped cars, with 3 laps left, his first victory in the night race at Bristol. He followed that up with a 5th victory in the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington a week later. Gordon won for the 3rd and final time in 2002 at Kansas Speedway, his 2nd consecutive at the track. The 24 team finished the season 4th in points. In 2003, Gordon returned with Robbie Loomis for a 3rd season together. Gordon won early in April, winning at Martinsville from the pole, but suffered from various accidents during the mid-season, but eventually recorded 6 consecutive top 5 finishes, followed by wins at Atlanta and the 2nd Martinsville race in the fall. He finished the year 4th in the NASCAR standings, with 3 wins, 15 top 5 finishes, and 20 top 10 finishes. Gordon also was in second to Matt Kenseth for the championship early in the season. 2004 was a huge rebound for the team. Gordon won the Brickyard 400 in August 2004, obtaining his 4th Indy win. Gordon holds the title for the NASCAR driver with most Brickyard 400 victories at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with 5, and one of only 5 drivers to have 4 victories at the historic track. Prior to this victory, Gordon won at Talladega, and followed that up with a victory the following weekend at California, in which he won with no fuel remaining. He also won at Infineon Raceway, leading a track record 92 of 110 laps to claim his NASCAR record 8 road course win. Gordon followed that up with a victory the following weekend in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona after receiving a push from teammate Jimmy Johnson for his 2nd consecutive restrictor plate win. While the Hendrick Motorsports team celebrated success with Gordon and Johnson winning 5 and 8 races, respectively, the team suffered a major off-track tragedy. On October 24, during the Subway 500 race weekend at Martinsville, a Hendrick Motorsports plane carrying engine builder Randy Doughton, team president John Hendrick, vice president Jeff Turner, Ricky Hendrick and more crashed on its way to the track, killing everyone on board. On race day, Gordon finished 9th, while Johnson won. Despite a 34th place finish at Atlanta the following week, Gordon ended the season with 3 consecutive third-place finishes. Prior to the new chase for the Cup, Gordon held a 60-point lead over Johnson, but after the 10 races, Gordon finished the season third in the points standings behind champion Kurt Busch by 16 points and Johnson by 8. Had the chase not existed, and assuming the finishing spots remained the same, Gordon would have won the championship by 47 points. Gordon started the 2005 season with a win in the Daytona 500, his third win in the event, followed by a win at Martinsville in the Advance Auto Parts 500. Subsequently, Gordon won at Talladega after surviving a 2-lap green-white checker finish for his 4th restrictor plate win in the last 5 races. However, inconsistency would plague him throughout the year. Despite having 14 top 10s, he also had 9 DNFs, and at Chicagoland Speedway, Gordon was wrecked by Mike Bliss, which led to a confrontation at a local airport. A late-season charge put him in position to qualify for the chase, but in the last race before the chase at Richmond, Gordon made contact with the Turn 2 wall and failed to start for the chase. Eventually, on September 14, crew chief Robbie Loomis resigned from the number 24 team. Loomis stayed on with Hendrick Motorsports as a consultant for Jimmy Johnson's number 48 team through the chase for the NASCAR Cup in 2005. Steve Letarte, Gordon's car chief for most of the 2005 season and longtime member of the 24 crew, replaced Loomis as crew chief effective at New Hampshire International Speedway on September 18. Despite these disappointments, on October 23 Gordon won the Subway 500 at Martinsville, his first win in 22 points races, and his 7th career victory at the 0.526-mile track, which leads all active drivers at the facility. He went on to finish 11th in the championship and received a $1 million bonus as the top driver finishing outside the chase. It was Gordon's first time outside the top 10 in the point standings since 1993. Gordon also finished the season with a career-low 8 top 5 finishes. Gordon opened 2006 with a second-place start in the Daytona 500, but eventually finished 26th. Gordon won his 9th road race, the 2006 Dodge Save Mart 350, at the Infineon Raceway for his first win of the season and 5th at Infineon. The day before the race, he announced his engagement to Belgian model Ingrid van de Bosch. On July 9, Gordon won his first race at Chicagoland at the running of the USG Sheetrock 400 after bumping into race leader Matt Kenseth's rear bumper with 3 laps left. Gordon made the chase for the NASCAR Cup with his improvements on the intermediate 1.5/2-mile downforce racetracks from 2005. Gordon started the chase with a third-place finish at Loudon, followed by his first pole of the season at Dover, with a lap speed of 156.162 miles per hour, and finished with another third-place finish. However, Gordon finished outside the top 20 in 3 consecutive races at Kansas, Talladega and Charlotte, due to troubles with the fuel pump, a crash and an engine problem, respectively. Gordon rebounded with 3 consecutive top 10 finishes at Martinsville, Atlanta and Texas, followed by a pole at Phoenix and a 4th-place finish in the race. Gordon eventually finished 6th in the NASCAR Cup Series standings, 219 points behind champion and teammate Jimmy Johnson, 2007. Gordon began the 2007 Cup season by winning his 4th Gatorade Duel qualifying race. Due to a rear shock bolt breaking during the race on his car, he failed the post-race inspection which found that the rear of his car was too low and, as a result, had to start 42nd in the Daytona 500. He went on to finish 10th in the race despite being involved in a crash during a spectacular last-lap finish. On March 23, Gordon won his 58th career pole for the Food City 500 at Bristol, the first race for the Car of Tomorrow. He went on to a 3rd place in the race, which gave him the points lead for the first time since the 2005 Daytona 500. At Texas Motor Speedway, Gordon started on the pole because qualifying was rained out. He led the most laps before brushing the wall coming out of turn 4 and finishing 4th. On April 19, 2007 at Phoenix, Gordon won the pole, and tied Darrell Waltrip's modern-day record of 59 career poles. 2 days later, At the Subway Fresh Fit 500, he won for the first time at PIR, ending also a streak of 21 races of non-pole winners at the track. With the win, he also tied Dale Earnhardt for sixth all-time in overall number of NASCAR Cup Series wins. After winning the race, he held a black flag with a number 3 to honor the late Earnhardt. On April 28, at Talladega, Gordon and David Gilliland tied for the pole with identical speeds of 192.069 miles per hour, but as Gordon was higher in the standings, he was awarded the pole, breaking the tie with Darrell Waltrip for career poles with 60. One day later, he passed Dale Earnhardt for sole position of sixth on the all-time wins list with 77 by winning the Aaron's 499. As a result of the accomplishment, unhappy fans began throwing beer cans at Gordon's car. Gordon stated, "On one side, I want to jump up and down and be fired up about getting 77 here at Talladega knowing that 3/4 of the grandstand are pulling against us. On the other side, I respected Dale so much, learned so much from him, and today being his birthday and knowing how many of those people up there wanted to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. win this race today, it's tough. I certainly didn't want to start a riot today." On May 13, Gordon held on despite an overheating car and a late charge by Denny Hamlin to win the Dodge Avenger 500, the 78th win of his career, and his 7th at Darlington Raceway. 2 weeks later, in the 2007 Coca-Cola 600 at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Gordon crashed after making contact with Tony Raines and A.J. Allmendinger on lap 61, only 91.5 miles into the race, ending his streak of completing every lap during the season at 10 races. On June 11, Gordon earned his 4th win of the year and 79th of his career in a rain-shortened race at Pocono Raceway. 6 days later, he scored a 9th-place finish at the Citizens Bank 400 at Michigan International Speedway, the 300th top 10 finish of his career. On September 8, Gordon earned a place in the chase for the NASCAR Cup. With his 4 wins in the first 26 races, he earned the regular season championship, and the 2nd seed in the chase. At Watkins Glen for the Centurion boats at the Glen, Gordon started on pole after qualifying was cancelled due to rain. He led 51 laps, the most of any driver, and when he appeared to have the win wrapped up, Gordon spun out with 2 laps to go. Tony Stewart won the race while Gordon finished 9th. On October 7, Gordon led only the final lap in winning the UAW Ford 500 at Talladega Superspeedway for his 80th career victory after receiving pushes from Dave Blaney and Tony Stewart past Jimmy Johnson, along with using a strategy of staying near the end of the field until nearly the end of the race to avoid the inevitable Big One, especially with the unknowns involved in racing the car of tomorrow. With the win, he swept the 2007 season races at Talladega, and won his 12th race at a restrictor plate track, making him the all-time leader for restrictor plate wins. On October 13, Gordon led 71 laps and, although fuel was a question near the end of the race, he was able to finish the race and earned his 81st career victory in the Bank of America 500 at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Finishing 4th in the Ford 400, Gordon finished the chase 2nd in the standings to Hendrick Motorsports teammate Jimmy Johnson, trailing by 77. However, Gordon's top 10 finish at Homestead left him with a total of 30 top 10 finishes for the season, setting a new modern-era Cup Series record. This was the 2nd time that Gordon lost a championship because of the chase point system. Had the chase not existed, Gordon would have won the championship by 353 points. As with 2004, he recorded the most points over the entire season, but lost the title because of the 10-race championship system. 2008 a Euro 10. Gordon finished 4th in the 2008 Budweiser Shootout and finished 3rd in the Gatorade Duel qualifying race. He started the 50th annual Daytona 500 from the 8th position and led 8 laps, some under caution, but on lap 159 suffered suspension failure and finished in 39th position. Gordon wrecked with 5 laps to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, claiming that it was one of the hardest wrecks he's ever had, and leading him to call for safety improvements on the inside walls of LVMS and other similar tracks. The wreck has had drivers and owners from all around NASCAR now concerned with the lack of a safer barrier on the inside walls of tracks and the design of the wall where it allows access for emergency vehicles. Greg Biffle went as far to say that the wreck should be taken as seriously as the one that killed Dale Earnhardt in 2001. Other drivers who have publicly supported Gordon's call for safety improvements include Jeff Burton, Tony Stewart, Robbie Gordon, and Kurt Busch. Gordon collected his 64th career pole for the Cobalt Tools 500 on March 7, then went on to finish 5th in the race leading 3 laps. 3 weeks later, at the Goodies Cool Orange 500 on March 28 at Martinsville, Gordon won the pole, and finished second in the race after being caught up in a crash caused by Eric Almirola and coming back from the tail end of the field. Gordon led 90 laps in the race. The week later at Texas, Gordon finished a career-low last place after being involved in a crash in Turn 4 on lap 110. At Darlington's Dodge Challenger 500, Gordon recorded his 4th consecutive top 3 finish in the event after finishing 3rd. At Sonoma, Gordon also finished 3rd to claim his 4th top 3 finish in the last 8 races. On September 7, with his 8th place finish at Richmond, Gordon made his 4th appearance in the chase for the Sprint Cup, earning the 10th seed out of 12 drivers. Gordon collected his 66th career pole at the Dover International Speedway for the Camping World of E400, and led 30 laps in the race while scoring a top 5, while Greg Biffle won. On October 31, Gordon earned his 4th pole of the 2008 season, and first ever at Texas Motor Speedway. Gordon finished second to Carl Edwards. Gordon finished 7th in the 2008 chase for the Sprint Cup, 368 points out of first place. He finished winless for the first time since 1993. This was also the final season the team ran the Flames paint scheme that was introduced in 2001. In 2009, the 24 car would unveil its 3rd regular paint scheme. The new scheme was not much different from the previous Flames design, but the color blue was replaced with black. This was the first time in Gordon's career that his primary paint scheme did not feature the color blue. Gordon started off the 2009 season by drawing the 28th and final position of the Budweiser Shootout. Gordon finished 4th at the shootout, the same finish he had in 2008 after getting through 3 wrecks, including a last-lap crash. He held off Tony Stewart to win his 5th Gatorade Duel. It was his first win in 41 races, dating back to October 2007. As a result of the win, Gordon started 3rd in the Daytona 500 and, after overcoming a tire issue late in the race, finished 13th. The following week at the Auto Club 500, despite leading 64 laps, Gordon finished runner-up to Matt Kenseth, marking Gordon's 9th top 5 finish at California. At the Shelby 427 in Las Vegas, Gordon led 17 laps but cut a tire coming into the pits, and as a result he finished 6th, despite having a shredded fender. Gordon took his first points lead since 2007. A week later at Atlanta, Gordon collected his 2nd top 5 of the year in the Cobalt Tools 500 after leading 36 laps. Gordon extended his points lead to 77 points at Bristol in the Food City 500 after finishing 4th. The lead increased to 90 points over Clint Bowyer after leading 147 laps and finishing 4th at Martinsville in the Goodies Fast Relief 500. Gordon ended his 47-race winless streak, winning the Samsung 500 for his 82nd career victory and his first at Texas Motor Speedway. He held off teammate Jimmy Johnson for the win and extended his points lead to 162 points. Gordon also led 105 of the 334 laps, earning him 10 bonus points. Gordon scored a 5th place in the Southern 500, despite a loose wheel in the beginning of the race. It was Gordon's 5th straight top 5 finish at the track. He extended his point lead to 31 points over Tony Stewart. Gordon scored 2nd place finishes behind teammate Mark Martin, in both the June LifeLock 400 at Michigan and the July LifeLock.com 400 at Chicagoland. Because Martin and Gordon finished 1-2 in both races, LifeLock will pay a $1 million bonus to a Colorado family. Gordon qualified for the 2009 chase by virtue of his second-place standing in the points following the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. However, reseeding eventually dropped him to 6th in the points. Gordon scored 2 consecutive second-place finishes at Kansas and California. He finished second to Tony Stewart and Johnson in those races and was third in points behind by 112 points by the second Texas race, and was 168 points down after Phoenix. He finished third in points, giving Hendrick Motorsports the first team ever to finish 1 Euro 2 Euro 3 in the points, finishing behind teammates Mark Martin and Johnson, who became the first driver to win 4 consecutive titles. During the 2009 season, Gordon became the first driver in NASCAR history to pass $100 million USD in career winnings. Gordon started off the 2010 season slow, starting with a 26th place finish at Daytona and a 19th place finish at Auto Club Speedway. However, at Las Vegas, Gordon dominated, leading 219 of the race's 267 laps. Unfortunately for Gordon, crew chief Steve Letarte opted to take 2 tires instead of 4, arguably costing Gordon the win, as his teammate Jimmy Johnson passed him on 4 fresh tires. Gordon was eventually also passed by Kevin Harvick, and finished third. Gordon finished 18th at the Cobalt Tools 500 at Atlanta. Gordon was leading with 2 laps to go at Martinsville in the spring, but a bump from Matt Kenseth and a charge from Denny Hamlin relegated the number 24 DuPont team to a third-place finish. Gordon scored a runner-up finish in the Subway Fresh Fits 600 to eventual winner Ryan Newman. Gordon led 124 laps at Texas, but was involved in a multi-car wreck late in the race. Gordon went on to lead 4 laps at Talladega but was caught up in a wreck with Jeff Burton near the end of the race and dropped him down to a 22nd place finish. Gordon was leading on the final restart of the Crown Royal Presents the Heath Calhoun 400, but was passed by the winner of the race, Kyle Busch. This was Gordon's 8th second-place finish since his last win came at Texas a year ago. At the Southern 500 at Darlington, Gordon led a race-high 110 laps, but was shuffled back to the end of the lead lap as a result of pitting early under caution. He eventually worked his way up in the last 20 laps to finish 4th. In Dover, Gordon finished 11th after he was a top 15 car all day in a 400-lap event. Gordon recorded a 6th-place finish at Charlotte, after opting for track position over pitting with 20 laps to go. Gordon did not have a very fast car, but managed to hold on to a top 10 finish. Gordon made his 600th career NASCAR Sprint Cup start in the 2010 LifeLock.com 400 on July 10 at the Chicagoland Speedway and finished third. Gordon cut a right front tire late at the Carfax 400 at Michigan, resulting in a 27th place finish, but remained second in the point standings. Gordon finished 13th at the Emory Healthcare 500 in Atlanta, and continued to stay in second. The chase started well for Gordon, finishing 6th at Loudon. After struggling at Dover, he finished 5th at Kansas, and 9th at Fontana. He earned his first pole of the season at Charlotte and he was the pick to win the race, but unfortunately, he had battery issues and he was caught speeding on pit road, finished a disappointing 23rd place finish. At Martinsville, he got wrecked by Kurt Busch, ending his championship hopes. At Texas, he was running well, until an incident occurred between him and Jeff Burton on lap 192. Burton clipped the back of Gordon's car, sending him into the wall, which eventually caused them to have a sharp and a physical fight. He would finish 37th. In the Ford 400, he started 11th and finished 37th, due to an engine failure. He went winless again, and it would be the 3rd time in his career he went winless. 2011. Gordon started the 2011 season in Daytona driving the number 24 drive-to-end Hunger Chevrolet Impala, with new crew chief Alan Gustafson, who had moved over from Mark Martin's number 5 team after Steve Letarte was reassigned to Dale Earnhardt, Jr.'s team. He started the race in the 2nd position but after a pile-up in turn 3 on lap 29, finished the race in 28th, right behind teammate Jimmy Johnson. The following week at Phoenix, Gordon won for the first time since Texas in April 2009, and his second win in the previous 3 seasons. Over the next 5 races, Gordon only had one top 10. Gordon won his 70th pole at the 2011 Aarons 499 at Talladega after qualifying with a lap speed of 178.248 miles per hour, breaking a third-place tie with Cale Yarborough for most poles. All 4 of the Hendrick Motorsports cars swept the top 4 positions, with Jimmy Johnson starting on Gordon's outside, with the second row being filled by Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Gordon drafted with Martin for the entire race. He led a few laps at the beginning of the race, but then purposely fell outside the top 30 to avoid any trouble. With 10 laps to go, Gordon and Martin started their charge to the front, taking the lead at the white flag. Then, while side by side with Clint Bowyer and Kevin Harvick, coming through the tri-oval, Johnson and Earnhardt, who had also been drafting together the entire race, squeezed to their inside. Earnhardt rubbed fenders with Martin, killing his and Gordon's momentum. Gordon finished third, in a 3-wide photo finish won by Johnson over Bowyer by 0.002 seconds. Over the next 4 races, he finished outside of the top 10. At Kansas, in the 13th race, Gordon finished 4th behind some fuel strategy winners. After starting third at Pocono, Gordon won for the second time, his 84th career win, tying for third all-time with Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Allison, and his 5th win at Pocono, tying him with Bill Elliott for all-time wins at the racetrack. At Michigan, he had a poor finish of 17th. At Infineon he finished second. This started a streak of 9 races in the top 13. At Bristol, Gordon led 206 laps, but finished third behind Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski due to the placement of his pit stall slowing him down because of NASCAR's timing lines for the track. The following Sunday race at Atlanta was delayed due to rain, and was moved to Tuesday, due to a tropical storm on the track on Monday. Gordon held off his copyright and teammate Jimmy Johnson for the final lap and took his 3rd victory of the season as well as his 85th career win, placing 3rd on the all-time win list, behind Richard Petty and David Pearson. Gordon became the winningest driver in the modern era of the sport, passing Darrell Waltrip. At Richmond, Gordon had a poor start, but shot back with a finish of 3rd, with Kevin Harvick winning the race, and Carl Edwards in 2nd. Gordon had the lead, but after Harvick's Richard Childress Racing teammate Paul Menard spun into the grass to cause a caution, Harvick beat Gordon out of the pits to take the lead. Gordon's summer hot streak made him a top pick for the 2011 chase for the Sprint Cup. He was seeded 3rd for the chase, because of his 3 wins. His chase started off with a disappointing 24th finish at Chicagoland, making a deep hole to climb out of early in the chase. At New Hampshire Motor Speedway, looked to be a rebound race for Gordon, as he ran well in the spring race. A 4th-place finish boosted him to 5th in points. At Dover International Speedway, the 3rd race in the chase, a solid 12th-place finish relegated him to 9th in points. At Kansas, Charlotte, and Talladega, Gordon had poor finishes of 34th, 21st, and 27th. At both Martinsville and Texas, he finished inside the top 10. But at Phoenix, he finished 32nd, 112 points behind the leader. To close out the 2011 season, Gordon was hoping to scratch Homestead Miami Speedway off his list of tracks he has failed to win at in the Cup Series at the Ford 400, but Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards were the class of the field as both were fighting for the win and the championship. Gordon wound up leading a few laps and coming home with a 5th-place finish. He closed out 2011 8th in the points with his first multi-win season since 2007. 2012. Gordon's 2012 season started on a frightening note in the Busch shootout. With 2 laps to go, Gordon got into a very loose number 18 car of Kyle Busch and spun him around, collecting other cars. Gordon moved up the racetrack to avoid the spinning 18, but came across the nose of the number 51 of Kurt Busch, Kyle's older brother. This was the first time that he ever flipped a stock car. In the Daytona 500, Gordon finished 40th after a blown engine on lap 81, but rebounded with an 8th-place finish the following week at Phoenix. At Martinsville, Gordon led a race-high 328 laps, but Gordon would crash on the 504th lap after Clint Bowyer collided with Gordon and Jimmy Johnson on the restart, and Gordon would ultimately finish 14th. At Talladega, Gordon won the pole position, and immediately began experiencing overheating issues with his car and was forced to ride in the mid-20s for a majority of the race, but was eventually caught up in a crash on lap 142 that took him out along with Carl Edwards, Juan Pablo Montoya, Landon Cassill, Dave Blaney and Martin Truex, Jr. In the 2012 Toyota Save Mart 350, Gordon would reach a milestone by reaching the 23,000 laps led mark after leading 13 in the race, the most of the current Sprint Cup drivers, and ranked 7th all-time. However, Gordon would then run out of fuel and ultimately finish 6th. At Pocono, Gordon took advantage of teammate Jimmy Johnson's right rear tire failure on a late restart just immediately before an expected large thunderstorm rained onto the track, thus giving him his 86th NASCAR Sprint Cup victory and his 6th at Pocono, breaking the record for most wins at the track, which was previously shared with Bill Elliott. This was the first time since 2007 that Gordon had consecutive seasons with at least one win. At Atlanta, pit strategy put the 24 team in the hunt for a victory, but Gordon couldn't muster past the 11 of Denny Hamlin and wound up in second. At the end of the race, Gordon said that he wished he had moved him out of the way to win. The following week at Richmond, despite troubles early in the race that mired him a lap down, Gordon rallied to finish second to Clint Bowyer, and made his 8th chase for the Sprint Cup. At Chicagoland, Gordon started 19th and raced his way up to the 4th position, but on lap 188 Gordon's throttle became stuck, sending him crashing into the Turn 1 wall. He would then finish 35th, the 10th time in the 2012 season that he finished 21st or lower. At the November Phoenix race, Gordon was running near the front until Bowyer again made contact and forced him into the wall. Gordon then cut a tire when trying to retaliate and was penalized with a black flag for both his attempt at retaliation and failing to come down pit road to fix his tire. In reply to the black flag, Gordon retaliated by intentionally wrecking Bowyer, collecting Joey Logano and Eric Almirola in the process, thus ending Bowyer's hopes to win the Cup title. The two crews began brawling while a furious Bowyer climbed out of his car. Bowyer frantically sprinted to Gordon's holler, but he was restrained by officials just in front of Gordon. Both drivers along with crew chiefs Alan Gustafson and Brian Patty were summoned to the Oval Office. Gordon was fined $100,000, docked 25 points, and placed on probation until December 31, while Gustafson was fined $50,000 for failing to take control of the 24 crew. He recovered from his penalty by winning the season finale Ford ECO Boost 400 the next week for his 87th Sprint Cup victory of his career. Ironically, Bowyer finished in second place behind Gordon. It was Gordon's first win at Homestead Miami Speedway, and heading into the 2013 season, leaves Kentucky Speedway as the only Sprint Cup track where Gordon has not won at least one race. In Victory Lane, Gordon gave his public apology for his behavior at Phoenix but maintained that NASCAR should have tried to handle he and Bowyer's year-long feud before the Phoenix race. 2013. Gordon's 2013 season started with a crash in the Sprint Unlimited on lap 15. He qualified second for the Daytona 500 and led the first 31 laps. However, he had trouble with his car's engine and water temperatures rising, the former exceeding 240 degrees, throughout the race, and would end up finishing 20th after he lost drafting help near the end of the race. He rebounded at Phoenix, finishing 9th, but then had a 25th place finish at Las Vegas. At Bristol, he cut a tire while leading late in the race, collecting second-place Matt Kenseth in the ensuing crash. However, he managed an 11th place position in Fontana after experiencing problems in a crash in the early stages of the race, forcing him to drop down to 28th. However, later he had a good pace and managed to resurface in top 20. His next top 5 finish was a third-place finish at Martinsville, finishing behind Jimmy Johnson and Clint Bowyer. In the NRA 500 at Texas, Gordon led 15 laps, but the right front hub broke on his car, and finished 38th. In Gordon's 700th consecutive start, the Bojangles Southern 500, Gordon finished third, marking his 300th career top 5 finish. In the Coca-Cola 600, on lap 324, Gordon was involved in a crash with Mark Martin and Aric Almirola, which brought out the red flag. At Dover, Gordon finished third, tying David Pearson for third all-time in top 5 finishes with 301. In the Quicken Loans 400 at Michigan, Gordon was involved in a crash with Bobby Labonte on lap 6, but eventually returned to the race. Gordon then fell 5 spots, and finished 39th. At Sonoma, early in the race, Gordon opted to pit as rain was arriving, but reached pit road as officials raised the yellow flag, and was forced to restart at the end of the line in 39th. However, Gordon was able to reach second by lap 77, and led the field 2 laps later, and by the time the caution was flown, Gordon led 4 laps. With 10 laps left, Gordon was in third, and after passing Juan Pablo Montoya, finished the race in second behind Martin Truex, Jr. for his 8th straight top 10 finish at Sonoma. Gordon had another top 10 with an 8th-place finish at Kentucky. However, the following week at Daytona, Gordon was running well until he was caught up in a crash with Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth and A.J. Allmendinger in the Tri-Oval on lap 149, leaving him with a 34th-place finish. He rebounded, though, with a 10th-place finish at New Hampshire and a 7th-place finish at Indianapolis. At the return to Pocono in August, Gordon ran his 42nd start at the track on his 42nd birthday, and almost became the second driver of the season to win on his birthday, after Matt Kenseth had done so at Las Vegas. Gordon started deep in the field, in 22nd place, and took the lead from teammate Kasey Kahne with 7 laps remaining. It looked like he was going to win, but a caution caused by Matt Kenseth spinning out erased the lead Gordon had built up on Kahne. Gordon restarted on the inside with 2 laps remaining, and battled Kahne side by side until Kahne cleared him past the tunnel turn, forcing Gordon to settle for second. Had Gordon won, it would have been a reversal of the rain-shortened August Pocono race of the previous year, as Gordon had won that race with crew chief Alan Gustafson celebrating his 37th birthday. In the Cheez-It 355 at the Glen, on lap 14, Gordon was forced off course and slammed into the wall. Gordon finished 36th. In qualifying for the Federated Auto Parts 400, Gordon set a track record with a lap speed of 130.599 miles per hour and a time of 20.674 seconds for his first pole of 2013 and 5th at Richmond, breaking the tie with Mark Martin for most poles at the track among active drivers. Gordon's winning a pole in 21 consecutive seasons set a NASCAR record. However, despite finishing 8th, Gordon was winless and was knocked out of the chase initially by finishing 1 point behind Joey Logano. However, on September 13, it was announced that Gordon would be added into the chase after it was found that Logano's team had collaborated with David Gilliland's team for Gilliland to give up a spot to Logano so that Logano could secure his 10th place point position over Gordon. This marked the first time the chase field comprised more than 12 drivers. After finishing 6th in the GEICO 400, in the Sylvania 300, Gordon was in contention for the lead, but slid past his pit box by the length of the splitters, and was forced to reverse back into his stall, causing him to fall behind to 22nd. Gordon finished 15th. At the Bank of America 500, Gordon won the pole with a lap speed of 194.308 mph for his 9th career Charlotte pole, the second most in track history. Gordon finished 7th in the event. At the Goody's Headache Relief Shot 500, Gordon took the lead from Kenseth with 21 laps to go, and won his first race of 2013, and first at Martinsville since 2005. This broke a 32-race winless streak for Gordon. In the AAA Texas 500, Gordon's left front tire blew on lap 74, and collided with the wall, damaging the right side. Gordon finished 38th, and his third position in the points standings dropped to 6. Gordon ended the season with a career-low 8 top 5 finishes, tying the amount he had in 2005, but his 6th-place points finish was the highest since 2009. 2014, At NASCAR's Media Day in Daytona on February 13, Gordon opened up the possibility of retiring after the 2014 season. In the event he won the championship, and stated that he is probably more serious. "If that happened, that would be all the reasons I need to say, this is it. I'm done. Go out on a high note." Gordon later recanted that statement in an interview with Larry King. The 2014 season began in the Sprint Unlimited, in which Gordon was collected in a 9-car crash on the 6th lap of Segment 2. Gordon started the season with a 4th-place finish in the Daytona 500. In the following races at Phoenix, Las Vegas and Bristol, Gordon finished 5th, 9th and 7th, and was the only driver to finish in the top 10 in every race up to the Bristol race. The 4 top 10s to start the season is a career best. In the Auto Club 400, Gordon was penalized for speeding on pit road, along with trouble with a pit entrance warning light, but later managed to take the lead on lap 106. Jimmie Johnson later became the leader, with Gordon following. Despite leading by .720 seconds by lap 178, and Gordon starting to suffer from a vibration with 15 laps to go, Johnson's flat tire with 6 laps remaining allowed Gordon to take the lead, but Clint Bowyer's spin with 2 laps left and the ensuing pit stop relegated Gordon to 7th. Gordon finished 13th after a green-white checker finish. At Texas, a caution with 2 laps remaining led to Gordon taking only 2 tires, and despite leading on the restart, Gordon was passed by Joey Logano on the final lap, and finished 2nd. However, Gordon managed to take the points lead after the race, his first time leading the standings since May 2009. In the Toyota Owners 400, Gordon led a race-high 173 laps, but finished 2nd to Logano, marking his 7th top 10 in 9 races, tied with Matt Kenseth for the most. At Kansas, Gordon claimed the lead late in the race after Brad Keselowski pitted, and defeated Kevin Harvick by 0.112 seconds for his 89th career victory. During the Coca-Cola 600 weekend, Gordon complained of back spasms, and skipped final practice. Regan Smith was tabbed to run in the event. Gordon needed to be substituted, but Gordon ran the full 600 miles, finishing 7th. Entering the Brickyard 400, the 20-year anniversary of his first win in the 1994 race, the day was declared Jeff Gordon Day by Indianapolis Mayor Greg Ballard. Gordon passed teammate Casey Kahn with 17 laps to go to win, breaking a tie with teammate Jimmie Johnson for most wins in the event, and tied with former Formula One driver Michael Schumacher for the most wins at Indianapolis. The following week at the GoBowling.com 400, Gordon led a race-high 63 laps, and reaching 24,000 career laps led, including being the first driver to lead 1,000 total laps at Pocono, and finished 6th. In qualifying for the Cheez-It at the Glen, Gordon won his first pole of 2014 with a lap at 129.466 mph. The pole was his third at Watkins Glen International, 75th overall, and extended his record of consecutive pole-winning seasons to 22 years. During the race, Gordon led the first 29 laps, and was running second when his car lost power after 40 laps. Gordon would finish 34th. The following week, Gordon won the pole for the Pure Michigan 400 with a lap time of 34.857 seconds and speed of 206.558 mph, 0.3 of a second faster than the previous track record set by Kevin Harvick. The speed would also be the 7th fastest in Cup Series history. In the race, Gordon held off Harvick for his first win at Michigan since 2001. On September 28, Gordon claimed his 4th win of the year by winning the AAA 400 at Dover, his 92nd of his career and his first at the track since 2001. During the AAA Texas 500, Gordon and Keselowski were racing along with Jimmie Johnson for the win with a handful of laps left when Keselowski collided with Gordon, which cut out his tire and led to him spinning. Gordon would fall to 29th, while Keselowski would finish 3rd. Following the race, Gordon verbally confronted Keselowski in pit road over the incident, with both drivers being surrounded by their pit crews. However, it escalated into a brawl due to Keselowski being shoved from behind by Harvick, who had also battled with Keselowski in the final laps. The brawl ended up involving the crew chiefs of both teams as well as other members from Kahn, Danica Patrick and Paul Menard's teams. Both Gordon and Keselowski sustained facial cuts. At Phoenix, Gordon finished second to Kevin Harvick, but Newman edged him out for the fourth and final championship spot by 1 point to transfer to the Final Four in contention for the championship. Other racing, Gordon has participated in the Race of Champions 3 times, including a Nations Cup winning drive with Team USA's Jimmy Johnson and Colin Edwards at the 2002 event in Gran Canaria. Prior to the ROC, Gordon competed in an ROC America event, losing to Kenny Braca and CCK after crashing. Afterwards, Gordon defeated Johnson by 1/1600ths of a second. Later in the day, Gordon rode with rally driver Marcus Graf NHOLM around the course, both eventually flipping. In the ROC's first round, Gordon lost to 2002 kart champion Cristiano da Matta, but in round 2, Gordon defeated Formula One's Fernando Alonso. In the semi-finals, Gordon won against kart driver Czar Copyright Bastian Bourdais, and in the finals, Gordon triumphed against European Touring Car Championship driver Fabrizio Giovanardi. He was slated to run it again in 2004 against 7-time F1 world champion Michael Schumacher but was sidelined by the flu, and Casey Mears took his place. In 2005, Gordon competed in the Race of Champions event again, this time held in Paris, France, where he was partnered with motocross racer X Games winner Travis Pastrana. In 2007, Gordon competed in the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona for the first time. He raced the number 10 SunTrust Pontiac Riley for Wayne Taylor Racing. His teammates consisted of Max Angelelli, Jan Magnussen, and Wayne Taylor. His team went on to finish third, 2 laps behind the winning team of Juan Pablo Montoya, Scott Pruitt, and Salvador Duran. Gordon ran in the International Race of Champions from 1995 to Euro 2001. Gordon won 1 race at Daytona International Speedway in 1998. In the race, Gordon led only 2 laps, but was the race leader by lap 30. Despite being invited for the 2002 season, Gordon declined due to time constraints. In 1997, Gordon was offered a ride by kart team owner Barry Green with Team Green as a stepping stone to F1's British-American racing. However, Gordon declined, stating that there are just too many steps to reach F1. On June 11, 2003, Gordon went to Indianapolis Motor Speedway to take part in a test with then F1 and Williams F1 driver Montoya. The two switched rides, with Gordon driving Montoya's Williams FW24, marking the first time he'd driven an F1 car. On Gordon's first lap, he went off course, and recorded a time of 1:17. In comparison, the 2002 United States Grand Prix pole time was 1:10, while the slowest was 1:13. On his second run, Gordon began with a standing start, completing a lap of 1:16.5. Montoya would eventually join NASCAR in 2007. Gordon has also participated in the prelude to the Dream Charity Dirt Track Race at Eldora Speedway in 2007, 2008 and 2010. Gordon had been intending to run the 2009 race, but did not due to scheduling conflicts. Gordon finished third in the 2007 race, 14th in 2008 and 22nd in 2010, the latter being run with Team Riley. Sponsorship and paint. Gordon and his team have carried the nickname the Rainbow Warriors throughout the years. He has always carried DuPont as a sponsor. From 1993 to 2000, Gordon carried a rainbow scheme that got the team their nickname. Throughout the years, Gordon has sometimes carried different paint, such as Jurassic Park in 1997, Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace and NASCAR Racers in 1999, Snoopy in the 2000 Brickyard 400, and a Superman theme in 2006. In 1997, Gordon signed a long-term contract with Pepsi that is still in place today. Every year Gordon has driven a car with the Pepsi scheme. In 2001, Gordon debuted a new scheme designed by NASCAR artist Sam Bass, which kept a blue base but changed the rainbow pattern to flames. In 2002, Gordon raced with a special scheme in honor of DuPont's 200th anniversary. In 2006, Gordon acquired a new sponsor, Nicorette. For the 2004 Nextel All-Star Challenge, Gordon brought back the Rainbow Warrior scheme. In 2007, Gordon increased his partnership with Nicorette, and ran the paint scheme in 4 races. At the Coca-Cola 600 in 2007, Gordon ran a scheme honoring the United States Department of Defense. Later that year, at Talladega's fall race, Gordon had a fan design contest, and Gordon ultimately won the race. Since 2007, Gordon has had the same design with different colors. Gordon occasionally ran a paint scheme that supported a different type of DuPont paint such as Chromax Pro. Gordon announced that the primary scheme of the DuPont No. 24 Chevrolet was to change for 2009 and beyond on the QVC show for race fans only. The 2009 scheme kept the flames format, but the colors were radically changed to red and orange flames on a black base color. The new 2009 DuPont paint scheme was unveiled on NBC's Today Show. In 2009, the National Guard signed a contract with Gordon, replacing Nicorette. The National Guard was the primary sponsor on Gordon's car for 6 Euro 8 races per season through 2010. Occasionally, a one-race sponsor steps in to sponsor Gordon's car for one race. For example, Gordon ran a Megatron scheme at Charlotte in the summer of 2009 to promote the movie Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen that was soon to come out on June 24, 2009. Hendrick Motorsports owner, Rick Hendrick, said in November 2009 that he is working on signing a contract extension with DuPont, Gordon's primary sponsor since the beginning of his career. DuPont's current contract with Gordon expired at the end of 2010, and Hendrick said he wants it to be Gordon's primary sponsor for the rest of his career. In 2010, reports surfaced that Hendrick Motorsports was in talks with Walmart to be a sponsor for the No. 24 car, but the deal never materialized. In October 2010, Hendrick Motorsports announced a scaled-down 3-year extension of his sponsorship agreement with DuPont. DuPont was Gordon's primary sponsor for 14 races, with AARP picking up 22 of the remaining races and long-term sponsor Pepsi continuing as primary sponsor for 2 races. In 2012 at Bristol, online game developer Zynga teamed with AARP and Gordon ran a Farmville-themed scheme. Gordon also had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles paint scheme on his car for the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway on October 13. In 2013, DuPont Performance Coatings was sold to Carlyle Group and became Axalta Coating Systems, which ran with Gordon for 14 races during the season. In February 2014, it was announced that Gordon Euro 1 registered trademark S car will have a Texas A&M engineering paint scheme at the Duck Commander 500 at Texas. During the race weekend, Axalta Coating Systems, a Gordon sponsor, arranged an event for more than 20 engineering students from the school, as the company's CEO was Texas A&M University alumnus Charles Shaver. On June 17, Hendrick Motorsports announced that Panasonic would serve as a primary sponsor with Gordon for 2 races at Sonoma and Atlanta through its Tourbook brand, and as an associate sponsor for the remaining events, on an annual basis through 2016. On August 12, Hendrick announced 3M will serve as a primary sponsor for 11 races and an associate sponsor for the remainder annually until 2017. Personal life: Gordon's parents are Carol Ann Bickford and William Grinnell Gordon of Vacaville, California. His stepfather, John Bickford, married in the 1970s. He has an older sister named Kim, and his cousin, James Bickford, currently competes in the K&N Pro Series West. He graduated from Tri-West Hendricks High School in 1989. Gordon is a born-again Christian. He has talked about how in the early 1990s he got curious and followed some drivers to the weekly chapel one week, which is how he first started to learn more about God. Marriages and children: Gordon met first wife Brooke Seeley after he won a Busch Series race. Seeley was then a college student and had been present as Ms. Winston in the Victory Lane in 1992. The pair began dating in secret, due to a rule that did not allow drivers to date Ms. Winston, and they were married in 1994. In March 2002, Seeley sued for divorce after alleging Gordon of marital misconduct, and Gordon eventually countersued. Gordon's wife, who also went by the name Jennifer Brooke Gordon, cited her husband's relationship with professional model Deanna Merriman in her divorce papers with a race car driver. In court papers, she asked for exclusive use of the couple's oceanfront home, valued at $9 million, as well as alimony, 2 cars and periodic use of their boats and an airplane. Though Gordon stated that Seeley did not deserve such a high amount of rewards, as he risked life and limb to gain the wealth, Seeley stated that NASCAR is a relatively safe occupation. Seeley subsequently was awarded $15.3 million. The divorce was finalized on June 13, 2003. Gordon was introduced to Ingrid Vandy Bosch during a dinner party at the Hamptons by a mutual friend in 2002, but they did not begin dating until 2004. Gordon announced their engagement on June 24, 2006, at a croquet event at Meadowood Resort in St. Helena, California. According to Gordon, they had kept the engagement secret for the following 30 days. Gordon and Vandy Bosch were married in a small, private ceremony in Mexico on November 7, 2006. On June 20, 2007, Vandy Bosch gave birth to their first child, Ella Sophia Gordon in New York City. On February 4, 2010, Gordon revealed that he and his wife were expecting their second child in August, and on March 16, he revealed that the baby was a boy. Gordon had Scott Pruitt ready to step into the number 24 at Watkins Glen because his wife was due to give birth the weekend of August 8. On August 9, Vandy Bosch delivered their son, Leo Benjamin Gordon, at 8:53 a.m. He weighed 7 lbs, 2 ounces, and was 19 inches long. Philanthropy. In 1999, Gordon established the Jeff Gordon Children's Foundation to help support children facing life-threatening and chronic illnesses. On December 16, 2006, Gordon opened the Jeff Gordon Children's Hospital at the Northeast Medical Center. In 2007, Gordon, along with Andre Agassi, Muhammad Ali, Lance Armstrong, Warwick Dunn, Mia Hamm, Tony Hawk, Andrea Jaeger, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Mario Lemieux, Alonzo Mourning, and Cal Ripken, Jr. founded Athletes for Hope, a charitable organization which helps professional athletes get involved in charitable causes and inspires millions of non-athletes to volunteer and support the community. AARP became Gordon's sponsor in 2011 through the Drive to End Hunger program, which donates meals to hunger relief organizations near NASCAR tracks, along with reducing hunger among senior citizens. Gordon is also a member of the Clinton Global Initiative, which helps global leaders find solutions to ending the world's pressing problems. Endorsements and business ventures. Prior to his sponsorship with Pepsi, Gordon had been sponsored by Coca-Cola, but eventually chose Pepsi due to more visibility, along with Coca-Cola wanting Gordon to be a regional sponsor in the southeastern United States. Gordon has also been sponsored by Kellogg Company and Frito-Lay. Since 2012, Gordon has been sponsored by DVX Sun and Safety Sunglass, which are constructed with elastomer from DuPont. Gordon owns a dealership, Jeff Gordon Chevrolet, located in Wilmington, North Carolina, and was opened in 1998. With Dale Earnhardt, Gordon owned Performance Partners, Incorporated, a real estate company, along with Chase Racewear, a casual clothing line. The two were also major shareholders in Action Performance Companies, Incorporated, the official die-cast creator of NASCAR. In 2007, PepsiCo introduced Jeff Gordon 24 Energy, an orange tangerine-flavored energy drink, which has since been discontinued. In October 2005, Gordon started a line of wine with Briggs & Sons Winemaking Company, debuting with a 2004 Carneros Chardonnay, followed by Moët and Cabernet Sauvignon in January 2007. Eventually, the 2007 Ella Sophia Napa Valley Joie de Vivre won double gold medals at the 2011 Indy International Wine Competition. In 2012, Gordon became the designer of the Canadian Motor Speedway in Fort Erie, Ontario, which will be the largest track in Canada. Gordon's stepfather, John Bickford, serves as the general manager of the project. Awards and honors. Gordon was inducted into the National Midget Auto Racing Hall of Fame at the January 10, 2009, Chili Bowl Nationals race at Tulsa. Most recently, Gordon was inducted into the Watkins Glen International Hall of Fame because of his outstanding success on the track. It was announced in 2009 that Gordon would receive the Silver Buffalo Award, the Boy Scouts of America's highest award, for his work as a scout recruiter and humanitarian work. 2 days before the 2012 Pennsylvania 400, Gordon announced that he will be the first NASCAR driver to be awarded the Heisman Humanitarian Award for his work in children's causes. Gordon's philanthropy has also made Gordon a 3-time recipient of the NASCAR Illustrated Person of the Year Award, winning in 1997, 2004 and 2011. In 2012, a 1.6-mile section of Interstate 85 in North Carolina from Charlotte to Mecklenburg-Cabras was named Jeff Gordon Expressway in his honor. The interstate number choice was made after Gordon recorded his 85th career victory. In popular media. Acting. Gordon has acted in films and television shows as both himself and fictional characters. He has also appeared in videos for Pepsi's YouTube channel, 2 of which have gone viral, Harlem Shake and Pepsi Max and Jeff Gordon Present, Test Drive. 2 years before, in 2011, Gordon had worked with Pepsi Max to create the Road Trip to the Racetrack video as a promotion prior to the Coke Zero 400. In September 2013, Gordon worked with actor Ron Howard in a series created by NASCAR known as The Crossing. Films, television shows, documentaries. Gordon is the subject of a 2004 episode of the ESPN documentary television series SportsCentury. Gordon is also featured in other episodes of the program covering fellow drivers Dale Earnhardt and Tony Stewart. Gordon's life on and off the track is profiled in the 2007 documentary television film 24x24, Wide Open with Jeff Gordon. Gordon is featured in 2 documentary television films about Hendrick Motorsports, together The Hendrick Motorsports Story and Beyond 200, The Hendrick Motorsports Story. Television appearances. Gordon has appeared as a guest on Live with Regis and Kelly, and has co-hosted the show 10 times on days when Regis Philbin was unavailable. In 2001, Gordon appeared on the Sports Superstars edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which aired on September 10. He walked away with $32,000 after missing the $125,000 question. In January 2003, Gordon became the first NASCAR driver to host Saturday Night Live, during its 28th season. In 2010, Gordon made an appearance on Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, which aired on April 11. Gordon helped the team rebuild a home for the Suggs family of Lorries, South Carolina. On January 9, 2013, Gordon appeared on an episode of I Get That a Lot. Gordon worked as an AutoZone employee, and attempted to sell Quaker State Motor Oil to customers without being recognized. Gordon has also made appearances on 60 Minutes, The American Athlete, Celebrity Poker Showdown, Charlie Rose, Crook and Chase, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Fashion Police, Fox and Friends, Good Morning America, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Larry King Live, The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, Late Show with David Letterman, Life and Style, On Air with Ryan Seacrest, Players, Rachel Ray, Sesame Street, Sidewalks Entertainment, Today, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, The Tony Danza Show, Top Gear, Unique Whips, The View, The Wayne Brady Show and Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. Fictional portrayals. In the King of the Hill episode Life in the Fast Lane Bobby's Saga, Gordon is portrayed less than favorably, screaming "Daddy!" in a nasal tone when his car spins out and hits the wall, alluding to earlier comments about how the main cast do not care for him because his father pulled strings to get him the car. In the Celebrity Deathmatch episode Sex, Lugs and Rock 'n' Roll, Gordon and Dale Earnhardt fight each other in a demolition derby to the death. In the South Park episode Poor and Stupid, Gordon, along with fellow drivers Dale Earnhardt, Jr., Danica Patrick, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart, are lampooned. In addition, NASCAR itself. Commenting on the episode, Gordon said he thought that, although the episode was making fun of NASCAR, it was still good publicity for the sport. References in media: in the Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode Kidney Car, Carl says "Hold on there, Jeff Gordon," to Meatwood as the latter is going to claim the former's wrecked car, which was donated to the Aqua Teens by the Kidney Foundation after Meatwood was ruled inoperable for a kidney transplant. In the Danny Phantom episode, What You Want, during the flying car scene, Danny says to the driver, "Hey, slow down, Jeff Gordon." In the film Couples Retreat, Gordon is mentioned when Jason says, "If Jeff Gordon told you the oil was low, you'd want to change it." Comedian Jeff Foxworthy jokes about Gordon's elocution in the track Jeff Gordon Enunciates, featured on the album Big Funny. Comedian and country artist Tim Wilson pokes fun at Gordon in the Jeff Gordon song, featured on the album Certified Aluminum, His Greatest Recycled Hits, Volume 1. Hip-hop artist Nelly raps the lyrics "I drive fastly, call me Jeff Gordon," in the Black SS with an Tion in the song EI, featured on the album Country Grammar. Country music parodist Kaluz T. Judd sings "Just Watchin' Jeff Gordon Plow Up a Wall," puts a smile on Dale Jr.'s face in the song I Love NASCAR, featured on the album Bipolar and Proud. Video games: Gordon is the cover driver of the video game Jeff Gordon XS Racing, and is a guide for gamers to progress through the game, and also is an opponent in a later duel in the game. Gordon has also appeared on the covers of NASCAR 98 and NASCAR Thunder 2002. Gordon and Hendrick Motorsports teammate Jimmy Johnson are on the cover of NASCAR 06, Total Team Control, highlighting team control, the main edition of the game. Gordon also is on the cover of NASCAR 09, in which he serves as a mentor for players in the Sprint for the Cup mode. Gordon appeared in Gran Turismo 5 as himself, providing tutorials on racing in NASCAR, which had been newly added to the series. Motorsports career results, career summary, NASCAR, Key, Sprint Cup Series, season in progress 1 ineligible for series points, Daytona 500 results, Busch Series, Rolex Sports Car Series, Key, Boulder Euro pole position. 24 Hours of Daytona, International Race of Champions, Key. See also, List of all-time NASCAR Cup Series winners, List of celebrities who own wineries and vineyards, List of Daytona 500 pole position winners, List of guest stars on Sesame Street, List of NASCAR EA cover athletes, List of NASCAR Sprint All-Star race drivers, List of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champions, List of people from California, List of people from Indiana, List of Pepsi spokespersons, List of Rachael Ray guests, List of recipients of the Silver Buffalo Award, List of Saturday Night Live guests, List of the Drew Carey Show characters, List of the Ellen DeGeneres Show guests, List of The Simpsons guest stars, List of TV Guide covers, List of TV Guide covers, references, citations. Further reading. External links, official website, official Hendrick Motorsports website, Jeff Gordon driver statistics at Racing Reference, Jeff Gordon owner statistics at Racing Reference, Jeff Gordon at NASCAR.com, Jeff Gordon at the Internet Movie Database, the Jeff Gordon Foundation, Jeff Gordon Children's Hospital. Jeff Gordon Collection, Jeff Gordon Chevrolet, Achievements.